Good morning once again to everybody, and you're welcome here to Williamstown in County Galway. Michael Cusack here in what I'm calling my COVID-19 garden. Just back at the start of April, this was a wilderness of weed and grass, and over the last number of weeks I've worked at trying to dig it out and deal with the mess that was in it and plant up, and you can see there's already even a lawn growing there behind. So time passes quickly, but it was a real learning curve for me. I kept thinking if Jesus was around today and trying to come up with a parable, he could do worse than talking about the parable of the bindweed. There's several types of weed here in the garden, but this is the real curse of the gardener. It's a quiet, invasive weed that grows softly underground at a great depth. And then when it hits a plant, it creeps up along it and chokes the life out of that plant. It's got an added little deviation as well in that it can be quite attractive looking, particularly at the end of August and start of September. As it has taken over the whole garden, it will produce blooms, beautiful big white blooms that look like a wonder of nature. What would Jesus say if he was having the parable of the bindweed? I think he might be trying to challenge us to look at different types of challenging behaviours in our lives. Maybe to look at relationships that we struggle with, or issues in our own lives that we struggle with, or in the lives of others. And I think in using this, he would be saying, don't simply pick it out, because when you pick it out, it actually comes back with a heavier growth, a stronger growth, and more obvious all over the ground. What you really need to do is get to the root of the problem. And when you do, you manage to, in digging deep, take out the very source of the issue, and then it's dealt with until I suppose you spot another problem coming up somewhere else. So it's a lesson, I think, for all of our lives. Many of us have issues in our lives that we try to deal with. We have relationships that are challenging. We have things that we need to dig deep in order to be able to keep at it. And yet, if you can see that project as worthwhile, if you see yourself as worthwhile, if you see the relationships as worthwhile, if you see the getting free of certain behaviours as worthwhile, then it's so important that we pray for the grace to be able to dig as deep as we can possibly dig and find the source of the problem, find the root of the problem, and know that a brighter future is always possible. And so, on that note, I want to give you all a little encouragement today to look at your own lives and look at the lives of those around us and the behaviours that challenge each one of us and see, can I dig that little bit deeper? Can I tackle the issue? And just as this garden has been turned from a wilderness into something beautiful, maybe the same is possible for each one of us. Have a blessed day and dig deep.